Will state-sponsored media, PBS, NPR, finally come to an end in the United States? Maybe. We can only hope.
Tasked with finding waste, fraud, and abuse in the federal government and highlighting it. And one of those that we found, which Republicans and conservatives have talked about for decades, is state-sponsored media in the United States.
It's not just Republicans and conservatives who wonder why in the world we would have state-sponsored media in the United States of America. Lots of independents, libertarians, all sorts of folks, are like, why would taxpayers be compelled to pay for these news outlets? Now, let me preface this by saying that I grew up with NPR and PBS. I watched Sesame Street on PBS, and Lord knows I have logged in massive hours with NPR over the years from the time I was a little kid. I miss Car Talk to this day. I very much enjoyed Car Talk. They were apolitical, funny, nice, and I learned about Volvos, and I really enjoyed that. But even still, as I was growing up, I remember talking with my parents and being like, do taxpayers pay for this? For media? For news? For news, most importantly, news. And they said, yeah. And, taxpayers only pay a portion of it, but they shouldn't pay anything for news. Now, that was back when NPR was within, something sort of close to like center left-ish. In the years, of late, it has gone full on crazy nut bar, radical far left, which is just terribly sad. I just wish Click and Clack would come back.
China and North Korea have state-sponsored media. The United States does not need state-sponsored media. Listen, if
Exactly correct.
Fox News or any other conservative news organization came to me and asked for taxpayer money, I would tell them no. And I certainly...
Of course. Like, how is not having state-sponsored media, taxpayer-funded media, controversial? We shouldn't have such a thing in this country.
I don't think we should be funding left-wing propaganda outlets like NPR.
I mean, this definitely sounds like Republican talking points, okay? And people on the left, and forgive me, I hate the right-left thing. I think it's such baloney. But anyway, I use it. I admit it because it's good shorthand. People understand it. But anyway, he's legit. He is totally correct here. They are propaganda outlets. Now, there was a time where it was tolerable, okay, where there was some kind of semblance, some sort of effort to be, at least sort of center left. I mean, McNeil Lehrer was pretty good for, that was before my time. But I mean, really, it was pretty good news. But since intersectionalism has infected a large swath of the American left, really NPR and PBS are just completely out there. I mean, disconnected from the American public. And why should the American public fund these media outlets that hold the American public in such contempt? The vast majority of American public anyway.
Or PBS. I had a hearing just a couple weeks ago where I got to question the head of NPR and ask her about some of the wild, outrageous things that...
Again, this sounds like, the sort of Republican talking points that a lot of folks on the left would, they'll dismiss it. They'll be like, that's not true. Seriously, this lady is out there. I mean, you have got to check out her stuff. I'm actually going to post a little snippet of what she had to say about the truth at the end of this video.
She had been posting on the internet for the whole world to see, and she had no answer for that. The American people are sick of funding institutions who promote values that they find repugnant, and that's what we're doing with NPR and PBS. And that's what we are hopefully soon, via a rescission bill, going to pull those funds.
PBS and NPR are on the chopping block. Okay, they should be gone. There is no reason in a free society that we should have state-sponsored media. It is a vestige of another time. It's of the same period of time as when Amtrak got taken over by the federal government. We need to end this. This should not happen in the United States. All media should be private in the United States. This should not be controversial. I'm sorry if you like your All Things Considered or whatever, or Weekend Edition or whatever. Fine. It can stay. All right. The vast majority of PBS and NPR is, privately funded through donations. Fine. You guys donate it. Okay. Donate to it. All right. But the American taxpayers, the vast majority probably of the people who actually pay taxes have nothing in common with these outlets. And it is shameful that they are compelled to pay for what, frankly, and this is only my opinion, is just straight up all too often. There's good stuff in there, like nature and stuff like that. Even nature's been infected, sadly. All too often is just really highly politicized propaganda. And as promised, this is Catherine Mahler, the head of NPR, and who embraces a postmodernist, intersectionalist nonsense philosophy. Check out what she has to say about the truth and ask yourself, do you agree with her?
I think our reverence for the truth might have become a bit of a distraction that is preventing us from finding consensus and getting important things done.